On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
There's not a person up in my household, not one day of the week, that's up later and get up earlier than me. I work. Real men work. Real men make sure that the people around them is taken care of. It's so many factors that go into it. You know what I'm saying? And so you gotta live it and just reinforce it with the advice. It's a twofold thing. It's never gonna be one way.
Yeah, I can dig that. Rella, what advice would you give younger women?
I think the main piece of advice that I would give to a young woman is identify, because I know a lot of, in my space, a lot of the younger women that I tend to come in contact with come from homes that may not have both parents in there, right? So they may come from, split home, blended family or whatever. But I think it's important that women, young women in particular, find an older woman and sit under her. So in my family, like my grandma taught all of the women in my family, and those grandmas are disappearing, right? So, the grandmas now are out at the club with the daughters competing for the same man. So we don't have Big Mama or Medea or those women who would, as GP was talking about from common sense perspective, or for what Anton was talking about, charm school. We don't have that, where your grandma would check your outfit before you left out the house. Like when girls are walking out just looking like anything, and then we're saying like, well, we don't have a right to judge them, and you should know you dressing for the part. I tell mine, if you're willing to show, you're willing to share. That's gonna be the perception. You can't go out this house representing the family or the name or not. So anyway, that would be my advice. Y'all know me. I really and I'm not trying to be funny, and I'm not ducking or deflecting or dodging anything. I honestly think that the women should be invested in the women. I think the women, the insight that I can give to a young woman typically happens by the time, at least in my space and who I'm dealing with, the younger women that I'm dealing with is like right around when they teenagers transitioning into adulthood. And I try and impart stuff into them that'll impact them for life. And most of that is just around how to carry themselves, in the workspace, because that's typically who I, tend to deal with when I come in contact with younger women. But the main thing for me would be that younger women need to get under the tutelage of an older woman who can invest and pour into you and teach you how to be a woman, especially in this day of time.
Really, would you say that older women give good advice to younger women?
Oh, I'm glad you reminded me that you was going to ask that. I would say this. I think we're still seeing the effects of the generation who did not pass down the correct information. So no, I don't think by and large that older women have given younger women good advice. But I think what we're seeing now with the conversations that we're having and what Kevin Samuels is bringing to the platform, that conversation is starting to change. Even if you look in the Facebook group, you see a lot more older women starting to speak up and giving advice to the younger women. And hopefully that trend continues to happen, because that is desperately what we need right now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've been having conversations even before this about whether men can give women advice and whether or can women give each other advice. I hope I said that right. You guys get the picture what I'm saying. So based off the conversations now, the different perspectives now, and I know this is a small percentage, but women, would you be okay if men stated it just like this? Would you be okay if men gave women advice? Would you say that it's safe to say that men can give women advice based off what you heard tonight?
I would say men can give women advice. It depends on what you're seeking advice for, but men are very knowledgeable about, certain things as it relates to women. I feel like they got the inside scoop in terms of like how men think. So I'm going to speak for myself. Like I go to my brother a lot. I'll ask him a lot of questions. So I mean, just because he's a man, it doesn't mean that he can't give me advice. And I think we all have a choice that if advice is given from a man and you don't, agree with it, or it just doesn't align, you have the ability to not take the advice, right? So I don't think it discredits men at all if you don't subscribe to whatever they're saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you say? Go ahead, Courtney. I'm sorry. Would you say it's okay for men to give women advice?
Absolutely. I actually think men give the best advice because men are more logical. So, and when I bought my car, I didn't ask a woman for advice. I took a man with me. When I bought my house, I wasn't doing it on my own. Brought a man with me. So it's dating advice. I'm gonna ask a man. I'm definitely not gonna ask a woman about dating a man. So I think men give the best advice. So I'm gonna rock with that.
Okay. And lastly, Kay, would you say that men are okay to give women advice?
Absolutely, yeah.
What?
Why are you saying what?
I didn't say it.
Why are you saying that sound? I mean,
I think you're the only one that heard that. I think you're hearing things in your head.
don't gaslight me. No, men are definitely, can give women advice for sure. Yeah.
What?
See. But yeah, they can.
Are you guys hearing anything?
Don't.
No.
No, why wouldn't they be able to? I don't know, but yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. That's enough of that, man. I just want to kind of get you guys advice. That was some good stuff, man. I do think that men can give women advice, and we just heard of different perspectives, even though some of it was different in small ways, but I think it was great and solid advice. So that question never comes up. I'm in agreement. Men are able to give women, younger women, older women, whatever, advice. More logical, right, fellas?
Agreed.
Yeah, I think at the same time we gotta live it though. Like when I say before I even ever reinforce anything with my daughter again, and I probably said this 150 times on this show and across the internet in general. I have to be the man that I would want my daughter to marry. I have to. And so me saying certain things just reinforce it because she know that I'm authentic. She see the way I treat her mom. She see the way I live my life. She see that I'm a reflection of the thing that I'm advocating for. You know what I'm saying? The kids are smart. You know what I'm saying? They see what you say, but they pay attention to what you do. And so for me, I'm willing to make the sacrifice for the thing. I'm a servant first. And in order for me to advocate for what I want my daughter to be, I have to be that thing first before I ever say it. And so I've largely predicated how I live my life based off of what I would want her to grow up as. And so I just reinforce the lessons, but she get to see it every single day without me ever saying anything. So it's not enough, gentlemen, just to give the advice. You have to live it. Every single thing, your being. When you wake up in the morning, they need to understand what a real man look like so they can identify him in the streets. You know what I'm saying? They need to know that a man get up earlier than them every single day. There's not a person up in my household, not one day of the week, that's up later and get up earlier than me. I work. Real men work. Real men make sure that the people around them is taken care of. It's so many factors that go into it. You know what I'm saying? And so you gotta live it and just reinforce it with the advice. It's a twofold thing. It's never gonna be one way.
Yeah, I can dig that.